I think that there's a real tendency to make ourselves wrong as human beings and think that people, this is part of the conditioning realization that we look towards people that have got titles and accreditations in society, and we perceive that they know something we don't as human beings, because we've been conditioned out of our own intuition. We've been taken away by the whole life human experience. So we look towards these people with titles and accreditations and so on and credentials, and we think they know something we don't. So we go to a doctor, they say to us, you've got depression, you've got anxiety, you've got substance abuse disorder, it's like whatever it is. And you think, you just take it and think, okay, that's it. I don't know any different. These people surely know better than me. So I just lived in it. I never had questioned whether it was true or not. I just thought these people were right. Even though the system was failing me, it was like I was suffering. I constantly made myself wrong. It's me. I failed the 12 steps. I failed psychotherapy. I failed psychiatry. I failed being sectioned and medicated and given all these tablets. They didn't work for me. Perhaps it was me. Perhaps I was a real lost case, and I really did see myself as a completely lost cause. I was told that many times, but I saw myself that I was a lost cause. And it wasn't until I had the awakening experience did I see that the system had failed me. I worked with a psychiatrist and he said to me, I think he said 700. He said, I had 700 lectures on mental illness, but not one on mental health. Nobody knew who worked as a mental health professional what mental health was. They knew what mental illness was, but they didn't know what mental health was. The system is conditioning. It is, there's a word that I was taught and it's iatrogenic. And I think it means that the medical kind of solution or the treatment makes the pathology worse, or reinforces it. I would say the treatment industry perpetuates suffering because both, and let me say it, not maliciously. They don't perpetuate suffering maliciously, but like innocently. It's an innocent thing, but the actual treatment system makes people worse because it gives them a pathology and it tells them there's something wrong with them and they've got it for life. Now people will say to you, oh, therapists in treatment centers, we don't tell people they've got the disease of addiction. We let them decide for themselves. But I've lost count of the amount of people that were told they had the disease of addiction and they believed it, because these people are therapists and they work in treatment centers. They must know better than me. That same conditioning I was talking about before. In one way, they go in just wanting to stop their addiction. They come out with a lifetime label, it's kind of like which they feel relieved about at first. People feel relieved when they receive a pathology. Oh, that's what's wrong with me. Oh, God, yeah, what a relief. So in a way, it's helpful for them to take some of the pressure off them, but they don't realize the lifetime implications and the limitations on finding well-being because they really think by believing that pathology that somehow it's going to help them, but it's just going to take time. It's just going to take meetings. It's just going to take doing work. It's just going to take turning up at meetings and helping newcomers and going to therapy and doing all this stuff. But the thing is that they stay in that. That's as far as it gets. It gets as far as thinking it's going to help, doing it, and never actually finding the elusive freedom or peace of mind. There's a huge relapse rate in traditional treatment is because they're not given the tools or the understanding of what's going on. It's like they're given a brief respite and they're giving a process to learn a new belief. So you have to learn the new belief. And it does work. I mean, it kept me clean, so to speak, from drugs and alcohol for 22 years. All I really did was transfer addictions to something that was full of shame and secretive. I was coping with my life. The belief that I'd been given was helping to some extent, but not fully because I was needing all these what I call coping mechanisms, pornography, sex, money, relationships, everything else that there's a shame feeling about. They became the things that I really leaned on, while I went to meetings and smiled and said everything was great. And that's what's happening for everyone. I call it whack-a-mole because you take away the drugs, which are the solution to start with, the solution to the trauma or the adversity, or you could call it the activated nervous system. You take away the solution to that and you try to install a new belief system, which doesn't quite work fully. People pick up the belief system that they gain a life with some camaraderie and some friends and other people that are staying clean, which is great. It's an unparalleled thing, the fellowship, to have support and like-minded people, but really they don't find peace. I would say for sure that I never met one person in my 22 years that I really truly believe was at peace with themselves.